Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Thrive55 Plus podcast, where we give practical inspiration so you get healthier. Your host, Cheryl Jones, will help you uncover more of who you already are and explore what you need to heal and flourish one moment at a time. Cheryl is an author, wellness leader, and health coach voted one of the most powerful women in the mindfulness movement by Mindful Magazine. There is no AI-generated content in this podcast. This has been created by subject matter expert Cheryl Jones.
Welcome to the Thrive55 Plus show. I'm your host, Cheryl Jones, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about love, what it means to be love, how you can expand your capacity for love, and perhaps even find love. When I turned 58, I got laid off from my corporate job. I felt grief-stricken, furious, and terrified, but I also saw this as an opportunity for something fresh and new. So I allowed myself to open to the possibilities. I reflected on the kind of work I truly desired, not just jobs I was capable of, but work that would capitalize on my skills and talent, work that would bring happiness and fulfillment. I also considered where I might like to live, where the job market might be better based on my lifelong career in wellness. Having been a solo parent for a decade and overcoming the most tumultuous time of my life, I believed I deserved to be happy and to have a chance at a new beginning. My kids had finished college and were establishing their careers. I was thrilled for them and so very proud of them. They were moving on, and maybe I should too. So I listed my house in Connecticut and secured an apartment in Boston. This ended up being 3 days before the COVID-19 lockdown. Needless to say, it was a very challenging time to show a house, sell a house, and eventually move to a different state. My plan didn't make complete sense, but it strangely felt right. I found myself listening to a voice from deep within which told me to keep moving forward. I figured I wouldn't be far from family and friends, and I was excited about making a change and living in a city again, if only for a while. My years in Boston turned out to be a very intense time. Living alone, I found myself struggling with the isolation of the COVID-19 shutdown. It was a very difficult time to be searching for work. Between March and April of 2020, 5.7 million workers ages 55 and up lost their jobs. In fact, the mental health impact of the pandemic was so severe that it prompted a second midlife crisis for the over 50s, with women worse affected. As a white woman approaching 60, this was most certainly true for me. I had lost my sense of purpose, I was unemployed, I was dealing with empty nest syndrome, all in a new home. Having a mindfulness practice has helped me to see the bigger picture, to see what's wrong along with what is right. I centered my attention on what I did have: my health, a beautiful apartment overlooking Olmsted Park, and a few work contracts. I spent hours riding my bicycle through Boston's Emerald Necklace Trail. I worked part-time at REI to get out and feel some sense of social connection. I helped a lot of people purchase their first pair of hiking shoes and a warm parka so they could enjoy being outside during the shutdown. As the universe would have it, my daughter ended up getting a job in Boston. Every Wednesday morning, I'd pick her up and bring her back to my place for the day. I found joy in making her meals, scheduling time for her to use the fitness center in my building, and then driving her back to her apartment. This kept us both going. My COVID journey became a time of intense soul-searching. At times, it felt like a forced retreat. I asked myself, what spiritual work have I not done yet? I decided that this was a call to compassionately explore what needed to be healed within me so that I could come out the other side feeling a greater sense of wholeness. I had spent my life in and out of therapy, and I had been extensively trained as a mindfulness teacher and spiritual counselor. I was prepared to take this deep dive and chose to trust my journey. The most obvious opportunity for healing was to learn how to live without a man, not only to be okay with it, but to truly feel content. I wanted to heal from a lifetime of serial monogamy. Whether I would go forward on my own or whether I'd meet my soulmate remained to be seen. If I would meet someone, it would be a partner who was a true match for my needs. Being love means embodying it. What would love say? What would love do? I wasn't trying to be godlike. I was opening myself to become a vessel for giving and receiving love. With everything that was going on throughout the pandemic, this seemed worthwhile. It was something I could control. Here's the thing. No matter whether we've had healthy or not so healthy role models for loving, with intention, we can become more loving. Love is something we can cultivate. We can increase our capacity for love, both giving it and receiving it, by consciously choosing how we show up one situation at a time. We hold an intention to be loved the way we want to be loved. We believe that we deserve to be loved. We surround ourselves with people who love us. We allow each person to fulfill a different need within us. Learning to be more loving isn't about trying to be perfect or saintly. We're human, and we're going to notice times when we aren't being so loving, when maybe we're being curt or critical or passive-aggressive. With awareness in these situations, we can become curious and ask ourselves, what's happening here? What just got triggered? We accept that this was the best we could do in that moment. We forgive ourselves and take that insight forward. We've heard that to love others, we must first love ourselves. This sounds good, but it's not so easy. Loving ourselves first goes against our social conditioning and religious upbringing, and perhaps messages we received growing up. Most of us worry about being selfish, self-absorbed, or narcissistic. To heal and thrive forward, we need to give ourselves permission to put ourselves first, or at least to be in the mix. With practice, we discover that loving ourselves helps us to love others better. We learn to love thy neighbor as thyself. I'd like to share a prayer that helps us to expand our capacity for love of self and others. This is known as a loving kindness meditation. I invite you now to pause and just take these words in. May I be happy. May I be loved. May I be peaceful. May I be free from inner and outer harm. May I care for myself with joy and ease. May this be so for all beings everywhere. I encourage you to do this meditation every day. In the morning while your coffee is brewing, after a workout, just before bedtime, after a difficult interaction, whenever. Just start to practice this loving kindness meditation and note how you feel before, during, and after. Our relationships can be an uplifting source of nourishment, or they can cause us stress and pain. It's likely that most of us are healing from some degree of codependence. We formed habits of engagement, ways of relating to others, especially those whom we've known all our lives. These patterns are so ingrained in us that we slide into certain behaviors without even realizing it. Cultivating love means letting go of our need to control, change, or fix anyone. While we cannot control another person's actions, we can always control our side of the equation. The truth is that when one person in a relationship changes, the relationship changes. Sometimes to experience healthy love, we must step away from a relationship. The situation may be calling for an extreme act of self-love to break a harmful pattern. This can be a scary thing to do when it involves a significant person. Space is our friend, though. It helps us to reapproach the relationship with openness to the possibilities for how to engage on our terms or without attachment to the outcome. Much of our suffering comes from wanting to be loved by someone in a way that they are not capable of. Acceptance means we recognize what a person can offer and let that be enough. I want you to know that I was doing this inner work as I was living my normal day-to-day life. While this may sound kind of heavy, I felt light. My spiritual work didn't feel effortful. I wasn't striving. I was befriending myself. I was praying, meditating, hiking, biking, singing, dancing, and trusting. I took field trips to various places north and south of Boston and felt particularly drawn to Plymouth. I looked at homes and ate at restaurants there. I walked the Plymouth Jetty on several occasions. I thought this would be a great place to live my next chapter. I felt like I could belong there. I made peace with the idea of being on my own, but was open to the possibility of meeting someone. And then, one night, it hit me. I literally felt a jolt of energy sweep through my body. All my senses were on high alert, not in a fearful way, but in an exciting, promising way. I wondered what the heck was happening. I also felt resistance. I think I even said out loud something like, "What? Really? I'm not doing that." Spirit was literally moving me to my laptop where I set up a profile on the Our Time dating site for singles over 50. I was smiling widely and shaking my head, but I put myself out there. A few days later, I was on my first date with the man who is the love of my life, and he's from Plymouth. My journey has brought me to the most loving chapter of my life, and I believe this can be a reality for us all, whether this means having a significant other or not. In closing, I want to thank you once again for allowing me to be part of your journey. Being love is the most important spiritual work any of us can do right now. We give ourselves the time and space to heal. We believe that we are deserving of healthy love. We send a message to the universe that we are open to receiving love. We practice the loving kindness meditation. As we increase our energetic vibration, we draw more love into our lives. But don't believe me. Give these practices a try and see what you discover. If you have a comment or a question about today's episode, just write to me at Cheryl@thrivingwithcheryljones.com. I hope you'll join me next time when I talk with Jane Fleischman about sex, romance, and aging. Thanks very much for listening. Be well and thrive on.
Thank you for tuning in to the Thrive 55 Plus podcast. Contact Cheryl with a burning question, access free mindfulness meditation resources, and schedule a free consultation to explore how you can achieve your goals and aspirations through personalized coaching sessions with Cheryl. Just visit her website, thrivingwithcheryljones.com. Subscribe to or follow the Thrive 55 Plus podcast, leave a review, or share it with a friend. Until next time, be well and thrive on.